Deep within the heart of Whisperwood, where sunlight dripped like honey through ancient branches, stood an oak tree unlike any other. Its trunk, thick as a cottage and furrowed with wisdom, bore countless hollows and crevices, each looking like a tiny, waiting ear for generations. The villagers believed the old oak held their secrets safe. They called it the keeper tree when hearts were heavy or burdens too sharp to carry alone. People would come ðÊ môr lean against its rough bark, warmed by centuries of sun, and speak softly into its quiet spaces, releasing their hidden fears, sorrows, and dreams into its silent embrace. It never judged, only listened, its leaves rustling a constant, comforting sigh on the breeze. A young girl named Elara, whose smile had grown quiet since her father sailed away and never returned, found the keeper tree one misty autumn afternoon, feeling utterly alone in her small house where her mother's eyes held unspoken sadness. Elara ran deep into the woods. Tears traced paths down her cheeks as she reached the giant oak, overwhelmed by the ache of missing him and the fear for her mother's fragile spirit. She pressed her forehead against the cool, mossy bark. It hurts, she whispered, her voice trembling like a fallen leaf. I miss him so much. And I'm scared for Mama. A single tear dropped onto a gnarled root. For a moment, the air seemed to shimmer, and the leaves above her sighed more deeply, wrapping her in a sense of profound, ancient understanding. It felt like the tree itself was holding her close from that day on. Elara visited the keeper tree almost daily. She brought it small treasures, a smooth striped river stone, a feather like spun moonlight. Placing them carefully into its welcoming hollows, she shared her small sorrows. The sting of a friend's careless words, the frustration of a difficult sum at school, the worry when her mother coughed late into the night. She also whispered her secret hopes, the longing for a new blue dress, the dream of seeing the ocean her father loved, the wish for her mother's laughter to return. Bright and clear like spring bells, the tree absorbed every word, every tremor in her voice. Sometimes a gentle breeze would stir its leaves just as she finished speaking, brushing against her hair like a comforting hand. She felt truly heard. One harsh winter, a sickness swept through Whisperwood. Elara's mother, already worn thin by grief, fell terribly ill. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped Elara's heart, tighter than the frost gripping the ground. Sitting beneath the bare, majestic branches of the keeper tree, the snow dusting its limbs like powdered sugar, Elara poured out her deepest terror. Please, she pleaded, her breath puffing white in the frigid air, her small hands pressed flat against the rough bark. Please don't let Mama leave me too. I don't know how to be alone. I need her. I'm so scared. Keeper tree, what will I do? Her tears froze on her cheeks, tiny crystals reflecting the pale winter sun. The ancient oak stood silent. Yet Elara felt a strange, deep warmth radiating from its core, seeping into her frozen fingers. For days, Elara tended her mother, her small face pinched with worry. She returned to the tree each dusk, her shoulders slumped under the invisible weight of her fear. One evening, exhausted and feeling utterly lost, she simply leaned her head against the trunk, too weary for words. As the first stars pricked the darkening sky, a sudden gust of wind, warmer than the winter air, rushed through the keeper tree. Euro's highest branches, not a leaf remained, yet a shower of tiny, dry twigs and seed casings rained down around her like gentle, woody rain. And then, carried on that strange, warm breath of air, came a whisper, not with sound, but with pure feeling, deep within her heart. You are stronger than you know. Little sapling roots hold fast, hope blooms, even in snow. Tend the light. Elara gasped, looking up into the vast, sheltering network of branches silhouetted against the twilight. A quiet strength, unfamiliar but steady, began to unfurl within her. Emboldened by the keeper tree's silent message, Elara returned home. She moved with a new calmness, washing her mother's brow with cool lavender water, humming the lullabies her mother used to sing, speaking softly of happy memories, picnics by the stream, her father's booming laugh. She tended the small fire diligently, keeping the chill at bay, and carefully spooned warm broth. Her quiet determination, her refusal to let the fear show in her eyes, seemed to fill the small, shadowed room. With a fragile but persistent light, neighbors began to notice the change in Elara. The quiet strength replacing the haunted look. They brought simple offerings. Nourishing soup, bundles of healing herbs, drawn perhaps by the unwavering light glowing from the little girl's eyes. A light kindled beneath the ancient oak slowly, steadily, like the first tentative green shoots pushing through the melting snow. Elara's mother began to mend. Color returned to her cheeks, and one morning, weak but unmistakable, her laughter, soft as birdsong, filled the cottage again. Elara's heart soared like a lark greeting the dawn. She raced through the awakening woods, past carpets of snowdrops and crocuses, straight to the keeper tree. Spring buds were just beginning to swell on its mighty limbs. Elara flung her arms wide, embracing as much of the massive trunk as she could reach, pressing her cheek against the rough, life-filled bark. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with joyful tears. "Thank you for holding my fear. Thank you for the strength you saved us." Sunlight streamed through the new canopy, dappling the forest floor and warming Elara's upturned face. A silent benediction. The keeper tree still stands in Whisperwood, its branches heavy with time and trust. Elara grew, but she never stopped visiting, sharing life's joys and new challenges. First heartbreaks, dreams for the future, worries for her own children. Others continued the ritual. The baker seeking courage to open a new shop, the widow speaking of loneliness, the child confessing a broken promise. Secrets, large and small, whispered and wept, were all absorbed into the ancient wood. The tree never offered spoken advice, yet those who came with open hearts often left feeling lighter, carrying away not just their own burden released, but a sense of deep peace, a quiet knowing that they were heard, they were held, and somewhere within the vast, patient silence of the old oak, their secret was forever safe, cradled. In the roots of hope it remained, as it always had, a steadfast keeper.